Notice with the longest club, the driver, the ball is farther away from the body than it is with the shorter club, the sand wedge. My body is in the same position and the ball distance away from me is different with every club. Let's take a look at another critical aspect of ball position. As I squatted and bent from the hips until the butt of the club hit just above the left knee, releasing the club behind the ball, I took a small step with the left, a big step with the right. Then I turned the left foot open at a 45-degree angle and turned the weight back on the left. This placed the ball on my left ear, the base of the spine, and just inside the left heel. As we will discuss later, the base of the spine is the bottom of the arc. This ball position will allow us to take a divot every time. Let's examine the checkpoints for Fundamental 4, starting with the feet. The right foot is at a 90-degree angle to the line to our target. The left foot is open at 45-degree angle and back from the line 4 to 6 inches. The left knee is over the left toe. Because of the activated muscles on the inside of the right knee, this maintains the angle of the right leg off of the ground. Since the hands are in the lower body at this time, notice the bow in the back of the left wrist and the cup in the back of the right wrist. The palm of the right hand feels like it's at the ground. As I squatted, I activated the biggest set of muscles I have in my body in my upper legs or thighs. Let's take a look at the checkpoints for the middle body. The hips are tilted forward, creating a slight cup in the lower back. The stomach muscles are activated to help support and fortify this. This gives us a very straight and strong back, connecting the lower body to the upper body. Let's take a look at the checkpoints for the upper body. Since the neck is an extension of the backbone, it's important to keep the neck straight and in line with the backbone. The shoulders turn around and with the backbone, so we want them turning perpendicular to that straight backbone and neck. The shoulders are down and away, very relaxed. The arms feel like they're hanging straight down. The left shoulder is as far away from the left ear as possible. The arms are set inward with the elbows pointing at the hips. The arms and shoulders form a triangle. The knees, hips, and shoulders are as level as possible. It's important to keep your eyes level also, since the eyes are the windows of the mind. The knees, hips, and shoulders are also open to our line. Fundamental 5 is, once you are set up, you take a preview takeaway. This is a little mini rehearsal of what we want to be doing through the hitting area. Then also in Fundamental 5 is the turning press. Turning the hips open, the left knee out, right knee in, right heel off the ground. In Fundamental 5, the first rule is cocking the wrists. This is done by the pinky, the little finger of the left hand, going down as the thumb and index finger of the right hand come up. This makes the pivotal point for cocking the wrists just back from the pad of the left thumb. This is the center of the cocking of the wrist. Little finger of the left hand down, thumb and index finger of the right hand up. Now in the preview takeaway, after we've done Rule 1, which was cocking the wrists, we do 2, 3, and 4. These work simultaneously together. First, the hands and arms move, taking the club away. This is all done looking at the target. Then the knees, hips, and shoulders. Preview a motion through the ball with the wrist cocked. This is a smooth, continuous motion, previewing the shot you're going to hit. Then, Rule 5 is placing the club back behind the ball. Let's take a look at this without conversation. Notice the hands leading the club head through the hitting area. And now the turning press. The turning press is done with the left knee and hip. Since the right knee is held in with pressure with the inside muscles, as I turn my left knee and hip forward, the right heel comes off of the ground. Once I have turned, I have completed the impact address position. This is exactly the way I want to be at impact. I just hold that a moment. Now I practice this by doing it in the count of 3. On 1, I turn my hips and my right heel comes off the ground. And 2, I set it down. And on 3, I hit the shot. Let's watch this during a swing. There's the preview. Let's take a look at an important part of the golf swing. It's the turning point. Since the golf swing forms a big circle, and you are the power source in that circle, and your ability to turn, and only your ability to turn, is what makes the head go, we must have a good stable center for that circle. That is what I call the turning point. The turning point is just ahead of the left heel in the left foot. The turning point is the center of the swing. The turning point is where the base of the spine is over the left heel. This allows you to freely turn your left knee, left hip, level left, and allows your right side to go to the target. Should you hang back on the right side and not reach your turning point, you can kiss the turning point and your golf ball goodbye. Let's take a look at the turning point during a swing. Let me demonstrate the power in the left knee, left hip turning out of the way with Bruce, if I can. Will you join me, Bruce?
Sure.
Now I'll reproduce a swing for an 8-iron. The left knee, left hip will turn level left, putting me on the turning point. There's a lot of power in the left knee, left hip turning level left so my right side can go to the target. Fundamental 6 is achieving a back turn, a drop onto your power plane, and a target turn. Now let's take a look at the rules for the back turn. Number 1, we cock the wrists. Number 2, the shoulders turn the arms. Because of the pressure inward on the arms, as the shoulders turn the arms, the right elbow folds, which is number 3. Number 4 is we maintain the angle of the right leg off the ground. This gives us a dynamic weight shift against the inside of the right foot. I feel a lot of weight going against the ball of my right foot. Number 5 is the left knee pointing at the ball. Now that we've completed our back turn, getting onto the turning point is done with the left knee, left hip turning level left. Since the right leg was dynamically loaded, as the left knee, left hip turns, the right knee points at the ball. This allows the arms and hands to get onto the power plane, which puts us on the turning point. The right arm folds even more, getting in front of the right hip, giving us a tighter arc and a completely loaded position on the power plane. Now, the rules for getting on the turning point were, from the top of the back turn, the left knee, the left hip, turn level left. Number 2, the hands and right elbow dropped, getting the right elbow in front of the right hip, giving us a tighter arc and a flatter plane. Let's see that again in slow motion. There are 2 planes during the swing. The green line represents the back turn plane. The orange line represents the power plane after the world-class move. Getting comfortable with your turning point, weight on the left foot. In the school, we suggest that students put most of their weight on the left foot and just touch the right toe to the ground. As you take your back turn, the weight goes from the outside of the left foot to the ball of the left foot and back to the outside of the left foot. Let's watch this during a swing. Weight on the outside, to the ball, and back to the outside. Very little weight is on the right foot. Now, the second thing we teach to get comfortable with the turning point, and don't let this scare you because you can do it, is placing all the weight on the left foot. Remember, the shoulders turn level left. Let's watch that during a swing. Now let's take a look at a move from the top of the back turn that my students have labeled a world-class move, and Ben Hogan labels it laying the club off. Once we have completed our back turn, the left knee, left hip, turn level left. This is followed closely by the right elbow diving inside the right hip. This is tightening the arc up and getting us on a flatter plane. This is the world-class move, getting on the target turn. This is a world-class move, getting on the power plane. This is the world-class move, getting loaded up. Let's watch the world-class move during a swing. Let's look at that again in slow motion. On the back turn, we have a wider, bigger arc. This is illustrated by the green marks. On the target turn, the arc tightens and gets smaller, as shown by the red marks. Notice the right shoulder over the left toe. Once we have made the world-class move and we're on our power plane, we're on our turning point, letting the target turn happen is a commitment of the mind to your target. It's a tremendous desire to hit the ball to your target. Let's take a look at that during the swing. Here's the preview. Here's the turning press. We take the club back and we go onto the power plane. We get very deep down into the lower part of the arc with the hands. From the top of the back turn, the knees turn the hips turn the shoulders, and the shoulders swing the arms. The right elbow dives in front of the right hip. Let's watch this during a swing. Notice the right shoulder over the left toe. Notice my hips are facing my target. Fundamental 7 has 2 parts. A mental evaluation, which is taken as the ball's flying to the target. The second thing is reviewing the physical part of the swing. When I was on the tour, I played a lot with Gary Player, and I would see Gary during the first 2 rounds of a tournament get on the course playing and hit a shot, and then he would immediately start reviewing what it was he just did. In talking to Gary about this, he would review every shot in practice rounds in the first 2 rounds of a tournament to really get his confidence up. If he hit a good shot, as I just did, he would review the feel of it, so it would build his confidence. If he hit a bad shot, he would correct it by reviewing and making the corrections in the moves that he mistakenly did. It's a big part of getting your confidence. Now, in reviewing a shot, there are 2 elements of it. One, the mental review, and one, the physical review. Let's watch a shot, and we'll cover the mental review first. At this point here, as I watch the ball flying at the target, I give it a rating. I'm trying to knock this shot in the hole with a 7-iron. I have a rating of 1 to 5. When I hit a 5, it's right on line with the pin, and it's the proper distance. When it's a 4, it's a very acceptable shot. When it's a 3, it's okay. 2 is bad, and 1 is awful. This mental review is important to get your mind lined up and keep it lined up and be aware of the distance and direction you want to hit your shot. Now let's take a look at the physical review. They set up here, arms together, shoulders level, left knee out, right knee in, arms set inward, back turn, target turn. I review exactly what caused that shot to happen. I had a perfect setup that time, very comfortable with it. I took a good back turn, got onto my power plane, got deep into the downswing, had a nice target turn to a good finish. A very, very acceptable shot. At least a 4 on my scale. This builds my confidence. Had I taken a bad swing, took the club too high, didn't turn my shoulders, got my weight on the right foot, had a one-piece takeaway, slid at the target instead of turning, then at this moment here, I would correct that. I would handle those problems right now and get the proper feel for the next shot. This review takes about 4 seconds, is all it takes. And work this into your game, because the review leads you back to analysis for your next shot, fundamental 1. In the introduction, I said you must be aware that your mind is the coach and your body is the team, and that the body is the only part of you that can physically live out your golfing wishes and dreams. Let's take a look at the team and the team members. First, we'll look at what would be ideal for each part of the feet, knees, hips, back, shoulders, arms, and hands. Then we'll look at their tendencies, which causes them to work against each other, making your swing very difficult. Now, in fundamental 4, as we set up, we took a small step with the left, a big step with the right, turned the left foot open, and turned the weight back on the outside of the left foot. There was also weight on the ball of the right foot. As we made our turning press, this was exaggerated, putting a great deal of weight on the left side. This is only held for a moment. On the back turn, we put the right heel down, and the left knee was pulled by the right hip going back. Now the weight is on the ball of the left foot and against the ball of the right foot. This helps load up the right side of the body dynamically. As the left knee, left hip turned level left, the weight went back on the outside of the left foot, putting the base of the spine over the left heel. The right heel started coming up. At impact, the right toe was the only part of the right foot touching the ground. Then as we continued on to the finish, all the weight, or almost all the weight, is on the left side. There's very little on the right foot. Now let's take a look at the knees during the setup and the whole swing. When we start out in Fundamental 4, we squat until the knees are over the toes. Then we take a small step with the left, putting all our weight on the left, big step with the right, turn the left foot open, and turn the weight back on the left. This puts a lot of pressure on the inside of the right knee. The left knee is over the left toe. This again helps load up the right side of the body dynamically. On the back turn, the left knee was pulled by the right hip and right shoulder turning until it pointed at the ball. The right knee flexed even more to take the dynamic weight going to the right side. At the top of my back turn, from 70 to 75% of my weight is against the inside of my right foot and right knee. As I make the initial move from the top of the back turn to get on the power plane, my left knee turned level left. This knee has its own little plane it follows. This is an important part of your golf swing, and you may find this member of your team a little weak. As the left knee turned level left, the dynamically loaded right knee followed, taking the right heel off the ground. On the finish of the swing, the left knee is flexed, holding 90 to 100% of our weight. The legs are an important part of the swing. Now let's take a look at the hips. In Fundamental 4, as I took a small step with the left, a big step with the right, turned the left foot open and turned the weight back on the left, this move opened my hips up to the line, as were my knees and feet. Since my right foot is dynamically loaded on the inside on the ball, and my right knee is held in, as I took my back turn, my weight went against the right inside of the right foot, right knee, and my right hip became the pivotal point for my hips. As I started my turn from the top of my back turn with my left knee, left hip, until my right heel came off the ground and I was on my power plane, this opened my hips up to align to the target and my knees. As I got deeper, the left hip became the pivotal point, so the right knee, right hip, and right shoulder could go to the target. My hips end up facing my target, or even left of the target, on a complete full swing. Now let's take a look at the back and the neck. As I set up in Fundamental 4, I set my back very straight. I get a cup in the lower back and make sure my neck is extended out straight with my back. Good way to check this is put the grip in your crotch, the shaft on your breastbone, and the head of the club on your chin. This will give you a feeling of a straight back. Now, the reason we want our back so straight is because it's the axle of the swing, and we turn around and with the backbone. As we take our back turn, we turn our shoulders around and with the backbone. As we make the initial move from the top of the back turn with the left knee and left hip, this puts the base of the spine right over the left heel, which is the turning point. On the finish of the swing, as we come up with the right leg relatively straight and the left leg flexed, you want your back straight up and down. Now let's take a look at the shoulders. As we squatted and bent from the hips in fundamental 4, releasing the club behind the ball, you want to get the feeling that your arms are hanging down, which will help you relax your shoulders. You should feel your shoulders are completely relaxed. Remember, tense muscles cannot work. As we took a small step with the left, a big step with the right, and turned our weight back on the left, the shoulders remain as level as possible. As we cock our wrists, as we take our back turn, the left shoulder goes under the chin and the right shoulder goes behind the head. It's important to realize that the shoulders can move independently. When we get the arms, we'll help tie them together with what we do with the arms. As we took our back turn, the left shoulder went under the chin and the right shoulder went behind the head. At this point, the upper back and shoulders are facing the target. As we made our initial move from the top of the back turn to get on to our power plane, the shoulders started turning. They continue to turn all the way through the hitting area. As we get down in the impact area, you can see the shoulders are open to align to my target. Then the right shoulder goes to the target. Notice that my shoulders are very level on the finish of my swing. Now remember that the neck is an extension of the back and the shoulders are turning around and with that straight backbone. So make sure that you maintain your head up so the shoulders can freely go under the chin on the back turn and under the chin, taking the head up on the finish of the swing. Let's take a look at the arms, one of the most misunderstood parts of the body. In the golf swing, we want the arms to work as a unit. In fundamental 4, as we set up, from here, we set the arms inward above the chest muscles. As we squatted and bent from our hips, this put the arms as close together as possible with the elbows pointing at the hips. We took a small step with the left, a big step with the right, turned the weight back on the left, maintaining the arms inward. You feel at this point as if you were holding a balloon full of air between the arms. Now, on the back turn, maintaining that pressure inward, holding that balloon, the hands cocked, and as the shoulders turned, the right arm started folding, assisting in cocking the wrists. The wrists and the arms are loading up at this time. As we start the left knee, left hip, moving level left, getting deep into the hitting area, the right arm stayed loaded. In fact, at this point, it loaded to its maximum. At impact, the right arm fired with the palm down, which squared the face. Both arms are straight at this time. From here, the left arm started folding with the left elbow at the left hip, and the right arm is straight all the way to the finish. Ideally, the right arm should be level to the ground. Now let's take a look at the simple movements of the arms. On the back turn, the right arm folds, starting its load-up procedure. As we make our left knee